I couldn't help but think when Father Fred was proclaiming the gospel that the phrase a teachable moment is evident in this gospel. And the other part was being set free by Jesus every Sunday. In today's gospel, we hear, actually for the third time, that Jesus goes to dine in the home of one of the Pharisees. And once again, the controversy of healing people on the Sabbath comes up. This time Jesus brings it up. And as they're dining or literally eating bread with one another, for some of them present, it is not a time to relax. The scholars of the Jewish law and the Pharisees are intently watching Jesus, but not to learn. They actually hope to trip him up, and they want to accuse him of breaking the Jewish law once again. This time, there's a man right in front of Jesus, as we heard, with a diagnosis of dropsy. I don't think that's in the current diagnostic guide for physicians, dropsy. So in case you're wondering what dropsy is, this man was suffering from a very debilitating disease, one that creates edema or swelling because his body was retaining excessive amounts of fluid. And further complicating his disease was that he had a thirst. A thirst, when acted upon, only makes situations worse. For as I said, more fluid would not be the solution to a person who's retaining too much fluid. And yet, fluid is what he craved. The ancient writers compared this unquenchable thirst, making things worse, with the vice of greed, a thirst for money that only weakens the soul. And some have speculated that Luke, who was a physician, specifies this illness as a metaphor for the Pharisees' never-ending desire for honor and places of honor, and to be held in great acclaim. If you think about it, this scene is a study in contrast. On one hand, you've got the elite Pharisees and scholars of the law. And on the other, the diminished man, weakened and suffering from illness. It sets up a great and dramatic reversal of fortunes that echoes Jesus' claim that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. It's the man's presence that prompts Jesus' question about whether it is lawful to cure on the Sabbath. In this moment, Jesus is teaching about who is Lord of the Sabbath, the elite of their time or the Son of God. Great food for thought for our generation too. And although all kept silent when Jesus asked the question, we know the answer. For Jesus healed, and Jesus dismissed the man on that Sabbath day. The translation of the word is dismissed is the same one used for the crippled woman who was set free on another Sabbath day. So we're left to realize that Jesus sets free those who trust in him, those who believe in his compassion, all those who humbly seek his help in our lives. And our need for Jesus' healing, as we know, is not limited to the physical maladies. We know that at times we, like the Pharisees, can be tempted. We can be thirsty for things like honor and power and money, all sorts of things that we know weaken our souls and our spiritual lives. We can even, in ordinary ways, be tempted to pick and choose which of God's teachings that we will follow, as did the Pharisees. Lastly, I was thinking that today's gospel is timed up perfectly as we enter this weekend. It is the encouragement to invite our family members, our friends, and our neighbors to join us for the Sunday Mass as we keep the Lord's Day holy. The Sabbath of the Lord's Day is also a time for family and friends while giving thanks to God, while praying for one another, while appreciating the gift of life, to get ready for another week, guided by Jesus' teaching, strengthened to receiving the Eucharist. The Eucharist, which is our nourishment for the journey of life. St. Martin de Porres, tremendous role model and intercessor, one who had a true care for the poor and for the sick. And we understand that in our own way, we're called to bring Jesus and his light and his healing to all those who may be suffering in any way, beginning in our families, and that we know that every Sunday, Jesus wants to set us free too. He has things that he wants to heal us of, and he has a mission for each one of us. Let us pray to St. Martin de Porres to give us a heart, to give us a mind, and to give us the eyes and ears to see those that Christ wants us to help.